It's Sunday, August 3rd. The sun is setting here on the West Coast in San Diego. And guess what, everyone? The MLB trade deadline is behind us, and the next 2 months of Cardinals baseball is going to look much, much different. Welcome back to Cardinal Territory. I'm your host, Katie Wu. Let's recap the first post deadline series. The Cardinals lost today's rubber match to the San Diego Padres by a score of 7-3. Andre Palante, I thought, actually pitched a decent ball game. 2 earned runs over 5 innings, maneuvered his way through lots of traffic, but did so with a good pitch mix, generated a considerable amount of swing and miss. Didn't really think the Padres were picking up a lot from him. Really think the only thing that messed him up was the 2-run homer by Jake Cronenworth. But let's be honest, it didn't really matter what Palante did today. The Cardinals had 1 hit through the first 8 innings and struck out 16 times. Hard to win when you don't hit or score. Here's where I'm at, Cardinals fans. And candidly, this is a bit of an adjustment for me as much as it is for you. I think going forward for the remaining 49-ish games or so for the rest of the season, we have to change how we evaluate this team. And this is not at all to suggest Cardinals fans should lower their standards when watching this team. I'm actually really against that argument, but that's a conversation for a different time. When I say change how we evaluate, here's what I mean. When you are, whether you're a reporter, a fan, a coach, a front office person, when you're watching a contending team, you know exactly what you're looking for. Did a player execute when he was supposed to? Did the bullpen match up with the right lane? Did the right reliever get the right spot? Was the defense in the correct positioning? Was the right decision made during a bang play? Like, I'm not suggesting these things don't matter anymore. Obviously they do. But when you're evaluating a rebuilding team, because that's what we are now, that's what we're looking at now, these things become secondary. What becomes the most important thing, the top priority for an organization in an evaluation period like the Cardinals are in right now, is identifying scenarios and players that can help you for the future. Here's an example. When we spent a lot of the first half talking to Ollie Marmol about his bullpen usage, and there would be specific lanes for specific players, and we all knew it. And we would talk about, hey, why did Steven Matz get this lane? Why did Phil Maton get this lane? Why did Jojo Romero get this lane? And I thought Ollie would do a nice job of explaining why, so much to the point where we pretty much knew in the first half which reliever was coming in, because that's how the Cardinals like to use them. Going forward for August and September, it's going to be natural to ask why this reliever. It doesn't matter right now. If Ollie Marmol has a decision to make in the 6th between Gordon Graceffo and Matt Swanson, and he goes Gordon Graceffo, and Gordon Graceffo gets lit up, I don't think the appropriate question is, why did you go Graceffo over Swanson? It's, what did you see from Graceffo here in this matchup going forward that you'll know whether to use him in this spot again or whether not to? It's not a matter of which reliever gets the lane. It's a matter of, what did this reliever do today, and will that help this organization evaluate what his role could be in the future? The Cardinals are going to win some games that they easily, the Cardinals are going to lose some games that they easily could have won because of this. It's not great. But that's the whole point of the next 2 months. That was supposed to be the whole point of this season, actually. This transition year is now actually becoming a transition season because the Cardinals have offloaded their highest leverage relievers. They're without their starting third baseman for a while. We'll get to that. And they're making an emphasis on playing the young players every day. That's what this whole season was supposed to be about, and it wasn't. So that's what I mean when we change how we evaluate. The Cardinals had some really poor, from a box score perspective, stats today. But in the 9th inning, and I'm not creating this apology like, participation award thing. I do think this is important. They get to Adrian Morhone, Mike Schilt, Padres manager, puts him in, lefty reliever. It's 7-0. All right, in the 9th. This team could have easily rolled over and called it a series. They lose the series, whatever. They sold. It's fine. They didn't do that. 5 consecutive hitters reached against Morhone. And Mike Schilt had to use his closer down 5. He had to go to Robert Suarez to finish that game. And those at-bats matter. Ollie Marmol described it as a learning curve. This is a learning curve game. I agree with that. You have a top of the lineup in Mason Wynn, Ivan Herrera. Ivan Herrera had a nice game today. Alec Burleson and Wilson Contreras. But specifically those 3 that said, you know what, we're not going to go down in order here. We're going to keep giving it a fight. Let's have the same sort of attack that we would if we were a contending team. And that helps the long run. There are guys that are going to go out there and not look great. Nolan Gorman has not looked good at third base. Again, we'll get to that. Thomas Ajayci did not have a great series. Some of these guys are going to be exposed right now. That's the point. They have to learn here. It's going to make for some not very pretty baseball. It's going to make for some frustrating moments on the field. But as we switch to 2026 and beyond, the next 2 months, while painful, while disappointing, while probably aren't always going to be great or clean or good baseball, are just as important as this club finally embraces what it said it was going to do at the end of the 2024 season and emphasize the future. All right. Hopefully that makes you feel a little bit better about the series, because it's where we are. And guys, I don't like it. I don't like coming to work and I was so jealous of the Padres writers. They're analyzing every pitch. That's why we're here. That's why we get into this, is for the big moments. But the organization, and you're going to roll your eyes, it might miss the mark at first. The organization is going to continue saying, we need to see what we have in these guys. I agree, because if you don't now, you never will. And then we're stuck in this toxic cycle of, are they contenders? Are they fringe contenders? Let's actually fix what's going on, the underlying issues of this organization, which we know are player development. See what you have with your homegrown talent and give them an opportunity to play for the next 2 months. If there's any silver lining here, it's that you have the opportunity to look at what this future might be. And when you see what Ivan Herrera is doing in left field or at the plate, when you see what Mason Wynn is doing at shortstop, when you see Alec Burleson emerging into a number 3 hitter for this club, though, that's all super important as we head into 2026. Again, I'm not going to say it's going to be the most compelling baseball. It's going to be frustrating. Some days it's just going to suck. That's what it is. But this is something that an organization that really wants to bring change to should be doing. They have roughly 50 games or so to continue seeing what they have in these young guys, and they'll go from there. All right, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Let's get into some roster moves that happened over the weekend. The Cardinals started the post-deadline era with Nolan Arenado hitting the 10-day injured list with a right shoulder strain. This is the same shoulder injury that plagued him in July, where he had to miss a handful of games. He was hopeful that taking the All-Star break and some extended rest would have his shoulder feel better, but it has not looked good, guys. I mean, Arenado's OPS in July started with a 4. Okay, it wasn't good. He hasn't homered since June 21st. Clearly something is wrong there. I know there's going to be some conspiracy theorists out here saying, Cardinals made him go on the IL so they could play Gorman. That's not my read on the situation at all. We haven't talked to Nolan, but just, this is someone who's been on the injured list. This is just the 4th time in his career, 1 time with the Cardinals. And 2 of those stints happened when either the Rockies or the Cardinals were firmly out of contention. I think my read on the situation here is this is something that Arenado felt he could have played through if the team was contending. But because the team sold and because he's clearly not right, I mean, look at the numbers. He has not looked good. He has made the decision where, it's best for me and the team to go on the injured list right now and get my shoulder right. I think that was more or less the decision behind the timing. It was, I can play through this. He no longer has to play through this right now because the Cardinals are pivoting towards 2026 and beyond. And who knows if he's going to be here. I'm sure we'll revisit all the trade speculation because it's a Cardinal tradition now. But that was my understanding of what happened there. Nolan Gorman's going to see the bulk of time at third base. Thomas Ajayci available to slot in. What this means for Gorman, it's finally an opportunity to see what he can do with everyday playing time. And the Cardinals need to know where they can slot him defensively. They have 87 DHs on the roster right now. Okay, they have a catcher in left field. They have a catcher at first base. Their 2 actual catchers behind the plate are both backup catchers, are designed to be. And this is no knock on either Pedro Pajes or Joel Pozo. It's just their nature of their skill set. They don't need another DH. So they need to find out if Nolan Gorman has any positional flexibility at all. He's okay at second base, but the Cardinals have a much better second baseman named Brendan Donovan. Third base has not looked good. It's early. I know it's only been a couple of days, but this is an opportunity for Gorman to show what else he can bring besides the chance of power and homers. What can he bring to be a total defensive player? This goes back to our first point. Yeah, you want Nolan Gorman to go up there and, drive in a run or get on base, have an impactful swing. You also want to see what he can do defensively on the diamond. Can he be an everyday player? Can that back hold up? That stuff is going to be brought to light over the next however long Arenado is out. Ollie Marmol does not have a timetable for Arenado's return. Said it was too early when asked if he was going to be out for the season. My gut tells me he won't be. My gut tells me he'll be back. I've been wrong before, though. So it's all about opportunity. And this is what we would have seen if the Cardinals could have traded Arenado in the offseason. We would have had a whole season of this for Nolan Gorman. Instead, we get 2 months, so better than nothing. But it just goes to show that as this Cardinals team uses this bridge season, it's looking more and more like a true rebuild here. And a true rebuild doesn't have to be 5 years of being terrible. It doesn't have to be tearing the roster down to the studs. I've always said that. A true rebuild can be, hey, we're going to concede games right now, and we're going to look to build for the future. We know that we don't have a fully true major league caliber 26-man roster. They don't. They do not. Okay. They know that. The priority is not to supplement the 26-man roster and make it major league caliber right now. It's to do it in the future. And the only way the Cardinals can do that, because they're not going to go out there and spend. We know that DeWitt's ownership will not do that, especially certainly to the extent of the higher teams like the Dodgers, Mets, Phillies, take your pick, Padres. But they will try to backfill their entire organization with homegrown talent. You got to know what your homegrown talent does, what they can do, how they can play. So, hate it for Nolan Arenado. Hopefully he's back soon and healthy. Gorman at third, Donovan at second, Lars Nootbaar back from the IL on Saturday. Surprised we have another roster log jam. The Cardinals have a plethora of corner and outfielders: Nootbaar, Herrera, Burleson, a bunch of lefties in Gorman and Donovan you throw in there, Victor Scott. So this will be something that Bernie and I can dive into next week on our episode. What Ollie Marmol's going to do about yet another redundant roster, I don't know, but it is so important for the Cardinals to continue giving this opportunity to guys. I'm going to try really hard not to use runway because I'm just so tired of that word, but I'm already also tired of the word opportunity. It is what it is. The Cardinals do not have a major league caliber roster right now. A ton of redundant positions, a ton of issues. And guess what? They're going to have to play through it and figure it out so that when 2026 comes, they're in a much, much better spot. So I know it's not a very positive episode, guys, but hey, at least the weather's nice here in San Diego. All right, let's jump through to our DraftKings segment. Our DraftKings player to watch. All right, our player to watch presented by DraftKings is none other than the new de facto closer, Jojo Romero. It's not as simple as it seems. Shocking. Nothing is with this organization. Let's pull up JoJo's stats here coming into Sunday. 42 appearances, 3-3 record, 2.21 ERA, 35 strikeouts over 36 2/3. But I want to look at his splits with you guys and just kind of break down how effective JoJo has been in July. A month that wasn't good for a lot of players. It was very good for JoJo. Opponents hit 194 off him, a 444 OPS. He did not allow an earned run in 9 appearances, and he struck out 15. That's pretty good stuff. That's why when we asked President of Baseball Operations John Mozeliak, after he traded Ryan Helsley, Steven Matz, and Phil Maton, who the closer would be, he said Jojo Romero would most likely see the uptick in high leverage situations. Now, notice they did not name him the closer specifically. That's because they can't. Jojo Romero is the only left-handed reliever in this roster. See what I'm talking about? A lot of issues, a lot of problems. So the Cardinals can't use him solely in the 9th. They have to use him for the best lane against lefty hitters. Sometimes that's going to be the 7th. Sometimes it's going to be the 8th. Sometimes it's going to be the 9th. But what is going to be really difficult about this is back to the original point we made at the start of the episode. The Cardinals have always had kind of players and lanes. You knew Maton was coming in the 8th. You knew Leahy would have multiples if it was a lefty lane or a righty lane, excuse me. And you know Matz would have multiples if it was a lefty lane coming up. And you knew Ryan Helsley was taking the 9th. Easy money. It is kind of all over the place now. There's no way to avoid this. There's no way for Ollie Marmol and Dusty Blake to avoid this situation. There are going to be times when they put a right-handed reliever in a lane that doesn't match up well for said reliever because they don't have another lefty. That's what makes John King's injury on Tuesday really poor timing because you lose another lefty there. Oh, why not bring a lefty up from AAA, you ask? Oh, they don't have any, okay? You see the problem here? This is not just an active roster or a 40-man roster issue. This is an overarching view of the entire organization. It's why player development has been the focus. But now I'm getting off tangent, and I'm getting irritated about the situation. So let's go back to JoJo. JoJo is probably best suited to close. And he did this role in 2023 when the Cardinals sold as well. But again, because of the lane and because of the lack of other lefty options, they're going to use him in highest leverage. You'll see someone like Riley O'Brien. He was up for the 9th on Saturday's game. If it got to a safe situation, that would have been exciting to see. Kyle Leahy is going to continue in that multiples. I mean, Kyle Leahy on Saturday, inning and 2/3, lights out against the Padres in that 8-5 win against them, their only win of the series. And you're looking at other guys. You're looking at what can Matt Swanson do. Matt Swanson had a pretty impressive outing on Friday, striking out Manny Machado. So they're pieces and they're things to get excited about. Ryan Fernandez is back from Memphis. We haven't had a chance to see him yet, briefly on Friday. It's not a bullpen where the roles are established, many like most of the season, most of 2024 and 2023. It's a let's try to match up for our best possible success, knowing that sometimes we're going to put a reliever in a lane that doesn't match up for him, and he's going to have to execute and learn from it, and we move forward. But Jojo Romero has been very, very effective, and in a perfect world, he will get the 9th. Cardinals could really use another lefty right now, so you hope that John King and that left oblique strain comes back soon. It's tough right now, guys. It is a barren roster, a lot of issues. Again, I'm not envious of Ollie Marmol and the job he has to do in order to try to make these guys better. The math just doesn't really add up here. You have a roster with 7 right-handed relievers who all have more or less the same amount of stuff, with the exception of Leahy and O'Brien. You have 5 left-handed hitters. They all play in the corners. You have 1 true center fielder, even though you have 8 outfielders. You don't really have anyone that can back up Victor Scott in center field. You have 1 shortstop in Mason Wynn. Your third baseman's on the IL, so you're using Nolan Gorman, who doesn't really look like a third baseman at the moment. Thomas Ajayci, well, I still think has a lot of potential, is pretty raw. Probably overmatched at the big leagues right now, but they don't have anyone else to play him, so they're going to do that. Tough spot to be. So that's your player spotlight, powered by DraftKings. I don't have picks for you guys today because we don't have the Monday episodes out yet. But I'm looking at the Pick Six website right now. Phillies Tigers is Sunday Night Baseball, which I believe is underway or it just started. So I don't know. I can't make picks, but anytime that you see the Phillies up there and the Tigers, 2 very good solid teams, you'll have lots of players to look at. So that's it. Check it out on Pick Six. Bernie loves it. You guys know that he's our DraftKings guy. I don't have again, no picks for you because I don't know about Monday, so make sure to check. You can excuse me, download the DraftKings Pick Six app now and use code FOUL. That's code FOUL for new customers to get $25 in bonus picks with their first deposit of $5. Better payouts, bigger wins. Only with Pick Six from DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit. Bonus picks expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
All right, as we move to the future, I will say it's not going to show up in the box score, and it's hard to evaluate, and it's very, very early. I like what we see in Ivan Herrera in left field. And I mean, he made a play today, a hard hit double that I thought was going to be a double down the line. He races over there and gets the ball quick, gets it back to the infield on a hard throw to second. Runner stops at first. That's an extra 90 feet is pivotal that he saved right there. The sinking liner in golden hour day game to left field, that's a really tough play for a new outfielder. He handled that pretty seamlessly. I know that's a routine play for an experienced left fielder, but Ivan Herrera has like 4 days in left field, so let's cut him some slack. If there's one thing the Cardinals are doing that I'm encouraged by, I think Herrera could be a serviceable major league outfielder out there. So maybe that's what we're looking for as we head into the Dodgers series. Let's look at the probables. All I know is that Shohei is slated to go Wednesday, so I'm excited about it. Your probables for the Cardinals-Dodgers series at Dodger Stadium. They will go Sonny Gray versus Tyler Glasnow on Monday. Tuesday, Miles Michaelis versus Emmett Sheehan, and then Matthew Liberatore versus Shohei Ohtani. Wednesday, getaway day. That's what we're looking at. And what you could also be looking at before we go away, is the Cardinal Territory shop. Our merch is out. I just ordered a brand new bag. I'm super excited. Not hats yet, but soon. We have quarter zips, sweatshirts, shirts, coffee mugs, water bottles, backpacks, anything you could possibly want. We have. You can check the link if you're watching on YouTube. It should pop up right under the show. And if you are listening to us on the podcast, you can visit cardinalterritoryshop.com again for your first look at new merch. All right, Cardinals fans, we're going to get through the next 2 months together. And I do think that there are, when I say exciting, relative to the situation, there are things to be excited about in terms of evaluating the future. And I know this is not a place anyone wants to be in. I know selling again for the second time in 3 years, it's disheartening. As a fan, it sucks, especially this fan base that has been conditioned to have such high standards. And I think the organization should be doing its best to uphold those standards instead of asking the fan base to lower theirs. But here we are. It's going to get complicated, and there's going to be things and situations that just don't make a lot of sense. I'm here to help you through it. Sometimes they don't make a lot of sense to me either. So let's learn through this together. I'm not going to pretend to tell you that I have all the answers right now, but I will try my best to get there. Again, it won't be the most pretty baseball over the next 2 months, but I still think there are things worth watching as we look towards hopefully a much better 2026 and beyond. Bernie and I are back with you next week. We're going to have some fun guest episodes. If you have a guest that you would like on the show, drop it in the comment section. Send me a DM on Twitter. We're at Card Territory there, or at KDJ Woo is my personal one. Yeah, we're always looking for fan suggestions. Want to keep you guys happy. We are so close to 5,000 subscribers. That is so cool. So when we get to 5,000 subscribers, we will do a giveaway episode with our new merch. I think that'd be pretty fun. So spread the word. Thanks as always for following along. Like, share, comment on YouTube, on Apple, on Spotify. You guys are the best. I'm super thankful for you sticking with me. Even now, post-deadline, and kind of the lull of the next 2 months of the season, I still think, I'm grateful that you guys are here following along. So back with you from LA tomorrow, maybe Tuesday. I don't know. I got to figure my life out. But Cardinals Dodgers will be underway around 9 o'clock Central Time on Monday. We will talk to you then. Thanks for watching.